How's it going, guys? My name is Franker and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna, well, as you guys can tell by the title, yeah, I've sold everything. So today we're just gonna be having a chat, just a discussion about what's going on. I hope not to edit this video too much. I know it's been a long time since we've uploaded, but I've just been really busy, so I'm just sort of thought I'll do a quick video, give you guys a bit of an update as to what's going on with the market, and of course follow up some of the tweets that I made. Not that I don't think anybody's looking at my Twitter and then going, what's Franco doing? Like, I'm not, obviously, but just thought I'd provide a quick update just with what's going on in the market right now, and of course just what I've done and what I'm doing moving forward. So yeah, let's just, as I said, not really going to edit this video too much. We're just going to sort of bounce around and just sort of chat about what we think is going on. So yeah, as I said, look, I've sold out of all my positions pretty well. So I'm not holding any cryptos at the moment, and the main reason being is that obviously I think we've seen a cycle top. Is this the, we put this on logarithmic? Yeah, is this the tippity top of all tops? Hard to really say at this point in time, but some of those key sell indicators that we have been following, like if you go back onto some of our older videos, they're always worth just going and having a look back at. Like I've been watching a few of the older videos as of late, just as a bit of reflection, and that's ultimately, for the most part, what I'm using this channel for now, is just holding myself accountable, putting my ideas out there, and then being able to reflect. I think it's really important. So thoughts and ideas at this stage is that we've pretty well or we've more than likely seen the top. This is a pretty, in my opinion, reasonable topping pattern. You think about the time frames, as we've discussed. We go back all the way on my Twitter, go back all the way. As I said, I'm not editing this, so you guys are gonna have to sit here and just suffer through me scrolling through my Twitter to find old tweets. But if we go all the way back to the start, a long time ago. Oh, hang on. That's some of my retweets. Thought that was funny. You'll see this one here in particular, right? The 4-year cycle. We've been following the 4-year cycle for a long time, and as you can see, that pretty well lands us in late 2026 for the top. So, oh, excuse me. As I said, I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to upload it. It's going to be cool. So yeah, we've been following this for a long time now. Of course, early signs are pretty positive that it comes first week of December. The cycle just tops and that's it. That'd be pretty funny if that was exactly how it played out. But of course, it's never say never, right? Like it could definitely change. There's still a few more things I'd like to see happen before I go confidently calling a cycle top. Of course, these are all good initial indicators. I think a big one is the 50-week moving average that's now broken down. We've seen a lot of people sort of talk about that yes, the 50-week has broken down and closed on the weekly. If you go back this whole cycle, you can pretty well see once we broke above it, we were able to hold it at every other point. You go back to other prior cycles, sort of once we broke out, we even held it back here, which sort of suggested there may be longer to go. But once, outside of COVID, once you really break above that 50-week moving average, you generally, you can see here again, broke above it and then just didn't go under it until the end of the cycle. So, there's a couple of things like that are starting to happen now that I think is sort of confirming for a lot of people that the top is more than likely in. But the big one for me is just following those time frames. And you got to, you're going to see people saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to continue pumping onwards and upwards, and the bull market's only just beginning. The bull market is not just beginning. The bull market started, coming up on, what's that? Like three years ago now, is when the bull market started, right? So, we've had a good period of uptime. Things have been pretty good for the most part. I think what caught a lot of people off guard is that the alt season wasn't the alt season that most people wanted. I was actually just watching a YouTube video today, in this one here, and one of my predictions was that the alt season won't be nearly as good as prior alt seasons. So that's something I really recommend actually going back and watching this video. Top 5 crypto predictions for 2025, because in that I actually made like a number of correct predictions, which was surprising, but you know, they were really basic things, really. They were just very simple ideas, and if you sort of follow those simple basics and fundamentals, you know, seem to pay off pretty well. So anyway, we'll go back through sort of the time frame. As I said, I just want to reflect a little bit on this. So the first thing is, I guess, when did we really sell out? And we'll have a look at a couple of other tokens that we sold out as well, just to sort of give you guys an idea of my thought process on where we're up to. You know, you can see I said I think it's realistically could be it for crypto. Happy for it to pump higher, but as we discussed, everything has happened that we expect this cycle, and that's the big thing. Like everything that we've looked at, everything that we said could happen, that would be sufficient for a bull market has happened. You know, we spoke about our very conservative price target of 118,000. That's happened. We spoke about our very conservative, or not very conservative, but our time target of October 2025. What are we in now? 2025. So, you know, that's happened. You know, and then you have a look at just some other things, and it's just, I think we've seen everything we need to see in a Bitcoin bull market cycle. And the thing that you got to come back to is the risk versus reward. Is that, you know, there is so much more risk right now than there is reward, in my opinion. You know, could we pump up to, you know, 150k maybe? But you know, the risk you have to undertake to possibly get that reward here seems completely skewed. All right, let's have a look at another tweet. BNB sold that a while ago. Just sort of tapping into the psychology of trading. So we put this tweet, we'll just copy, just quickly do this. Where is it? How do I download it? Oh, share, copy link. We'll put this on the chart just because we can. A tweet. We'll put the tweet in. There it is. Oh, we need to move that. It's right in the way. We'll jump back down to. Actually, you know what that'll do? This is a weekly chart, right? For BNB, we're on logs, so you can see here that tweet was the market top so far. Who knows if that holds out true? Once again, just, you know, a very lucky timing. As I said, sold all my BNB last week, no technical analysis, just thinking about timing, and it had gone parabolic. Like if you take this off logarithmic and sort of just zoom in, like the logarithmic chart doesn't really show it, but that is a pretty parabolic move. In my opinion, we sold all of our bag, I think, yeah, it was early October. It was somewhere in between these two handles. So whilst I got lucky on the exact timing, you know, the basic setup was pretty clear, right? And it's what we sort of keep coming back to is that, okay, token goes parabolic. We're in that time frame of October, you know, sort of early October, where we think the market top will probably come in. You know, could it go higher? Maybe, but once again, it's just sort of risk versus reward, right? And as I said, there was no technical analysis. Like this is my BNB chart. I haven't drawn on it, like at all. Like I haven't done anything to it. I honestly just looked at the chart one day. I was just looking at my portfolio. I'm like, man, BNB is doing really good. Had a look at the chart and I saw it start to go parabolic, and I just thought that'll do. You know, that was it. So sold BNB pretty well at the top. So one of the things that I actually like, once again, really good things. I discussed it in this video, what I learned in 2024. It's good just to go back and watch these videos. One of the things was taking profits, particularly on altcoins. So, excuse me. Oh my god. So one of the things was just taking profits on altcoins, and this is a really great example of it. I think I did a really good job with Solana this cycle as well. Like we have a look at Solana. I don't think it really matters what chart we look at. We'll go back and we'll find we'll find it. You guys, you just gotta hang in with me here. Just clicking up the alright, so sold my first bit of Solana here. Okay, sold my first bit of Solana. Copy link. Put this link in. There it is, right in there. And then I think I made some more tweets on Solana, but I don't know. I don't know where I talked about Solana. I didn't talk about Solana too much this cycle. I just bought a little bit. and then sold a little bit, and that was pretty well lit. But it was a really good trade that I did. I think it was over 100% in a pretty short period of time. Here we go. We were following Solana quite closely during this period here when we thought it was starting to bottom. So we'll just, what do? I keep forgetting what I have to do. Copy link. We'll just put these all on. Like, it's not to show you. Yeah, I'm not trying to prove. This is really just for me only. For what we're trading, it's just about taking lessons and you know, sort of trying to figure out exactly what the best move is. So this is when I think this was probably our first Solana tweet, if I'm being honest. I'll put all these in here. Here we go. All right. So we'll take this to the daily chart just to have a look at a bit more intraday. So one of the lessons that as I just said was, you know, that we took from this one was just to take profits on altcoins, of course. So that was something I was a bit more focused on this cycle, is just when things are in profit, take profits. So, you know, we're obviously discussing this being a pretty good buying opportunity, major 50% at $67, which it, you know, just didn't quite come back down to. Anywhere near $80, I'll happily start buying into Sol. So $80 right there, right? So we were talking around that sort of buy part. Solana found the higher low we're looking for. Now we must push higher to validate. Sol looking to be one of the strongest altcoins this bull run. You know, just with the early movement in the market, clearly showing some strength. Found a low, pushed higher, and then yeah. So why? You know, I didn't pick the bottom. It would have been nicer if I'd have picked the bottom, right? That's clear and evident. I'll remove these two tweets, right? So it would have been nice to buy the bottom. But then, you know, then we pretty well sold the top again, right? So it just comes back to, like, you know, that was one of those lessons, right? Take profits. Profits are profits. Better start taking them whilst you can. And it was just the same thing. There's no technical analysis in this for Solana, other than price went parabolic. Price went really parabolic. And there was a Trump announcement, I can't quite remember. Something crazy happened. Something like unbelievable was announced about Solana, and it just rallied. And I was like, that's it. You know, there's just no analysis needed for that trade. Like, it's just using logic and basically inversing it. And that was something man, this video is coming in really important. I only watched this morning for what I learned in 2024. And one of those things was also inverse sentiment. That was one of the things I discussed. And that was just about, you know, when things get really crazy, you know, you sell, right? When things are, you know, pretty dire but looking strong, you buy. And that was all it was. Like, that was a, you know, from sub 100 to plus 200, you know, it's well over 100% trade. So that was another really good trade, but obviously it's just showing, like, learning lessons throughout these cycles. One of the, and that's what I'm discussing in these videos, right? Things that I need to learn: take profits on alts, inverse sentiment, those things that we have discussed, you know, over a year ago. Yeah, actually applying those things. So I was really happy with that. Now for the things that I didn't do so well this cycle. CRO. Disappointing to say the least. There was a couple of really good moves, right? This is where it gets really hard, but it was definitely nothing like the past. Like, we didn't get a lot of time to sell out. That was sort of the problem with this move, is that, you know, we'll up and back in this move in like a month, like just a month and a half, and you're back right where we started. So I did take good profits from CRO, you know, and I think we actually called the CRO, you know, cycle pretty well. We called the bottom at around 5 cents, or we said that was the bottoming pattern. You know, we were able to buy a lot sub 10 cents, but ultimately, you know, the rallies were so sharp and short-lived that it was almost impossible to take good profits on that. So that's definitely a lesson moving forward, and it comes back to one of the old lessons, and that was probably best just to stay in coins like Bitcoin rather than these sort of crazy altcoins. Because whilst we did make profits on CRO, or I did, I shouldn't say I made profits on CRO, you know, there was definitely opportunity costs just with Bitcoin, because these sort of larger tokens that you see, you know, you get a lot, you know, you talk about how long you get to sell at the top here. Like, we're talking, you know, you've got we've been at, you know, 90,000 for a year, like over a year. You've had all this time to sell this top upper band, which makes it so much easier mentally, makes it easier just to timing wise with your taxes, like trying to figure out, because you don't want to just dump it all on the market and get slippage and things like that. So there's all these things that you want to consider, and you want to sort of sell out slowly. So that's what was the big problem with CRO, and that was a big bag of mine. So my voice keeps cracking. As I said, we're not editing this. We're just gonna upload it. It's just our thoughts on what we sold, what the cycle was like. Anyway, those were sort of the big tokens we followed. What else did we look at this cycle? Trust Wallet token was another one. Disappointment. These were sort of the two. I didn't invest much in Trust Wallet. But you can see, like, it's still one of those ones. It could just pump. It could just do something crazy. It could just go bang. I could see that happening. But we sold. I sold out of that. Pretty well break even. So I didn't lose any money, but definitely lost some opportunity costs. On that one, that was for sure. Anyway, so that's most of the tokens that we followed. This cycle, been a long cycle. It's been good fun. Hopefully we all made some profits along the way. Now, I guess, what do we think for the future? That is something that should be considered. Definitely considered. What does the future hold for Bitcoin and cryptos? As we said, we think top is in, and that we're going to continue lower for a bit longer. That's for sure. So let's figure this out. Where do we go to from here? Well, according to prior cycles, what is it? 12, 14 bars. What's that one? 12 bars, 12 bars. Okay, you typically see at least a year down. So let's just copy and paste that to there. Well, actually, we'll bring this down to here so it's a bit more reflective. So maybe we see a bottom sort of come October next year. That's a long way away. Where do we see the bottom coming in? One of the things that happened, in the prior cycle that we'd never seen before was the prior all-time high getting broken. That was something we'd never seen. Like, the bottom was always higher than the previous high. So it was higher. Whereas this cycle, it actually came in below. So the prior all-time high was at, sort of that 17, 18,000. It actually came below that. So we would expect it to at least, I think that's something that will continue going forward. I think at least, sub 60. We could go sub 50, honestly. Like, I think Bitcoin will have a pretty bad bear market. Other things to consider that we've discussed in the past, the 18.6 year cycle. Obviously, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that we're of the belief that we'll probably see a housing top in the coming years, or now or whenever. Hard to say exactly, but we'll probably see a big top in that. We'll probably see a top in like the S&P 500. If I can find it, S&P. What do I put? SYP. No, I'm losing the plot. Hold up. I'm gonna have to edit this. SPX 500. Yeah, that's right. SPX 500. It just doesn't look right. I guess that's it. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, this will be it. Yeah, this is it. The S&P 500. Anyway, I was getting confused for a second there. We think that the S&P 500 is probably going to top in the coming months or years. You can see this is a monthly chart, right? This is pretty crazy. Like, it's been up since 09. Just almost like, just like, what even is this? This is the most incredible bull market you'll just ever see. This is a logarithmic chart, of course. So if you take it off log, you can see that it is sort of going to get it's getting parabolic, right? Like, you zoom out, like, that's pretty crazy. Just to look at, like, that is a parabolic chart. That's for sure. So yeah, this definitely could. We're considering some big tops coming in, really across the board. With the 18.6 year cycle coming up. Like, of course, there's some cracks in the housing market, but nothing major just as of yet. We sort of had discussed in the past as well, like the smaller risk on assets like Bitcoin and those sort of things will likely lead the market. And then once, you know, sort of the smaller things start to fall apart, then the bigger things will start to fall apart. And I think the S&P 500, you know, we'll probably see a top in the coming years. You know, it's only a matter of time, right? Like that, like this run has just been unbelievable. It's almost like it's, how far back to this go? Oh, that's all back to the 70s, right? That's the very beginning. You know, since like some of these big corrections, we just haven't seen anything massive. Like, so maybe, you know, it'd be good to see sort of some, you know, 50% corrections in the stock market, something like that. Once we see all those things sort of start to play out, then that's a good reset for everybody, and we can actually get back on with our lives. Because everything is just so propped up right now. Like if we go back 50%, I mean 50% even, you know, it's only taking us back to pre-COVID prices, really. So, it's actually pretty interesting. Like it's not that bad. Like it's only taking us back to pre-COVID prices, a 50% drop. So, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Would just, you know, you just look back at it as something like this, right? Just some, you know, big corrections. But anywho, I'm running out of things to say. If I'm being honest, I didn't really have a plan or a goal in mind. I was just gonna sort of yap. When I came into this, I'm just sort of looking at things. I'll be honest. Like how long did this take to bottom? 27 months. Okay, so it was a long correction. How long did this one take? 17. So we're talking like 2 years. It might take 1 to 2 years to sort of bottom. For the S&P 500. Okay, that's interesting. Like how all of these are useless. This chart's not that good. Anyway, I can't remember which charts I use for the S&P 500. It really doesn't matter. But the thing is for Bitcoin is that Bitcoin's never done of a proper recession, proper bear market. Like the entirety of Bitcoin's existence has been since the GFC, right? Like we go back like 2009. This is post GFC, right? So everything that's ever happened in Bitcoin's existence has all been done in, you know, great economic market conditions, propped up, fluffed up, 0% interest rates, right? The whole shebang. So it'll be interesting to see. This is the big question mark for me. I guess, yeah, the point of this video, I've sold everything, right? I'm saying it here. That's the top. That's it. If it isn't, I don't really care, right? I made my profits. Yeah, that's what you got to come back to. Profits are profits. Take them whilst you can. So I'm good. I've taken my profits. I'm happy. So if shit hits the fan, that's the thing. Okay, Bitcoin, it may continue through its cycles. These cycles, they're not going to continue forever. A 4-year cycle playing out so rigidly and perfectly every single time won't happen forever. And that's why you hear a lot of people saying, oh, the 4-year cycle will fail. You know, it has to break at some point. And that's right, it has to break. But I think the thing that'll break that will be, you know, proper economic recession, housing downturn, all those fun things. So we might see that in the coming years with the S&P 500, as we were just looking at. You know, maybe it comes down, maybe it finally breaks this just absolutely ridiculous trading range that it's in, that just continues up and up forever apparently. But no, it won't continue like that. Like these things have happened in the past, right? Like you can sort of do this in multiple parts of history, right? Where it just sort of, you know, continues up and, okay, that's a pretty bad trading range, but you get the idea, right? Sort of, it does these things, right? Happens, it gets in trading ranges. Those trading ranges, they break down. That's sort of where we're at now. So in my opinion, of course, that actually looks pretty comparable now I'm looking at it. Maybe we get like one more pump out, something like that, and then we, you know, come back in. I don't know. But the thing that, you know, we talk about is Bitcoin. What effect will that have on Bitcoin? Hard to really say. What effect will it have on altcoins? I would say get the fuck out of altcoins. That shit is going to zero. Every single one. Actually, not every single one. Not going to go to zero. So many altcoins are going to go so close to zero. It'll be incredible to watch. So anyway, that's just all my thoughts. I've been up here yapping for 25 minutes. I guess the lessons you can take from this are, as I said, I sold. You know, the bear market's looking uncertain. It's hard to really tell what's going to happen. You know, and I'd be very concerned about, you know, just sort of blindly aping in at the bottom. yeah, this is something I still want to get back and do some more YouTube videos, videos. So I'll definitely rehash the what I learned video. I'll definitely rehash my predictions video, because we got a lot of those things correct so far. Assuming everything continues as we've expected, we're doing pretty well. So I'll rehash a couple of those things, just for the sakes of it, and we'll see how we go. Like as I said, this video is really just a quick update, more so for myself, just to sort of keep a log of what I'm doing in the market. And yeah, we'll see. I guess the next thing I'm putting my eyes to is, you know, how do I keep making, you know, money in the markets outside of just aping into Bitcoin. So obviously interest rates and things aren't that great, so you know, definitely got to look at other ways to make money. So yeah, I guess it's a good time to just invest in yourself, and yeah, maybe tuck some cash under the bed or something, and just, you know, sort of wait out the storm. And yeah, we'll see what happens in time. Anyway, thank you. If anyone's still here, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing. We did click over 1,000 subs, so that was pretty cool. Anyways, hit the like button, check out the referral codes in the description if you are interested at all. That'll be it for today. Thank you guys. Cheers.